Be sure and stick around, guys. Today, we're talking Flemish. Hey, friends. Welcome back to Ozarks Traditional. I'm Tandy, and welcome back to the workbench. We've got a nice spring rain going on outside, so it's a good day to be doing something inside today. As mentioned early in the video in this episode, we're going to be talking Flemish today, as in strings and jig. What is a Flemish twist string? Well, about 500 years ago, in the Flemish region of Belgium, a method of producing bowstrings was developed that had an integral loop design into it that would help to strengthen the fibers that were being used. And the way that they did this was a counter twisting action. So individual bundles are twisted in one direction, then the two twisted bundles are counter twisted on top of each other to provide a nice round string with good strength and good characteristics. Uh, Something good going on with this string, because now, being developed in the 16th century, now 500 years later, it is still in use in traditional archery. The strings that were used at that time were of natural materials, being mostly hemp, linen, cotton, these types of materials. And again, these individual bundles would be twisted in one direction to strengthen and tie the bundles together, and then those bundles are counter twisted to work down to the string to incorporate loops on both ends to be attached to the uh, the ends of the bow in the knock points at the ends of the bow. Um, those materials are not used so much today uh, because there's so much better materials in the synthetic line of string materials. And those synthetic strings that are used in today's traditional archery are a Dacron polyester material, B55. The attributes to B55 are both a strength and a weakness. The strength being in its elasticity. It's safe to use on self bows, on older traditional bows without reinforced tips, because the inherent stretch in the string has a little give to it and will not hurt the bow tips or delaminate them on some materials like that, and won't crack the self bows. Also, the elasticity adds a dampening effect to the string. So as the arrow is loosed, the vibrations within the string are absorbed within the elasticity of the string, so you get a quieter bow. Now, that's also a con to the string. It'll have more stretch and it can have more creep. So you need to keep a check on it a little bit more often to keep your brace height consistent. Moving on from the B55, you have Dyneema, SK75, marketed as Dyneema. BCY markets this under Dynaflight or D97. It has some elasticity to it, although not as much as B55. So it can still absorb a little bit of the vibrations through the string, although not as much as B55. But it also doesn't have as much inherent stretch to it, so you usually pick up some advantage in velocity of the arrow being fired. From the research that I've done, usually somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe half a dozen feet per second out of it. You won't get the creep that B55 does, so you'll not have to adjust brace height and these types of things as often because it's just not as stretchy as the polyester or the Dacron materials. Moving from there, you have 652 Spectra, which is the trade name with BCY. The material is Spectra, and it is the original Fast Flight. Now, Fast Flight was developed by Brownells, but now it's marketed through BCY fibers under the 652 Spectra. It's a step up from the Dyneema or the D97 in that it has even less stretch, but having less stretch, it's also a louder material, and it's probably the harshest on your bow's tips. So that's the three that mainly are used now. Again, this was developed 500 years ago. This system still goes a long way. So there's got to be something good to the system, and we're going to get to that in just a moment. First, there are other advantages to building your own strings. First is the reason that we're doing this series, self-reliance, the satisfaction of putting your own materials together. Strings on the market that I have seen will run anywhere from about $18 up to $50, sometimes more dollars per string from commercial string makers. Not to say that the strings that these guys make are not worth it, because there are some outstanding string makers out there. Too many to go through and name any names, and I don't want to single anybody out or make you think that I think one's better than the other, because I don't have a preference for the string makers. I think there's a lot of really good ones out there. I fall into the self-reliant category. As I've mentioned before, I live out in the middle of nowhere. I don't want to have to rely on going anywhere to get strings for the bows that I have. So I've decided to try to make my own. And the goal in this video is to give you the information that you can use so that your first attempts, while probably not going to be great, maybe not even be good, but will be satisfactory for you to build on your knowledge base and eventually be able to make your own very good bowstrings. Another factor that comes into it is simply a cost factor. You can build your own strings much cheaper than you can purchase already manufactured strings. Let me give you a quick little breakdown on that. I've got a couple of notes here that I'll go with on that, so I don't mess the facts up too much. The B55, and I'll put this information over here on the side too. In a 1/4 pound roll, and I'm going to compare all these in 1/4 pound rolls because as a individual string maker, more than likely that's the size that we'll choose. This is a 1/4 pound roll. On the B55, there's 1,100 feet of string on that 1/4 pound roll. Let's just use a generic length of string that we're going to use to build our strings on, and let's just say a 72-inch starting strand of string, an even 6 feet. It's just easy to do the math. The B55, the recommended strands from BCY is 12 to 16 for a B55 string. 12 on the lower end, which is usually 50 pounds or less, and 14 to 16 above 50 pounds and going up from there. I'm going to stay on the low end of the strand count because the vast majority of the bows that are going out now are usually 50 pounds or under. So let's just stick with, for the example, 12 strands. So we've got 6 feet of strand times the 12 strands is going to be 72 feet of string per bowstring built. 1,100 feet per roll divided by the 72 feet comes out at 15 and change, 15.3. So that means that you can build 15 strings with a 1/4 pound roll. A 1/4 pound roll of B55 retails for around $10. Sometimes you can find them a couple dollars cheaper, sometimes $1 or so more expensive, but it's going to average out around $10 a roll. Guys, that comes out to a whopping 67 cents per string if you build it yourself. Add a little bit of serving to it, maybe 25 to 30 cents worth of serving material that goes onto it, and you're looking at $1 for a finished bowstring in B55. Let's go through the same process with the D97. There's 1,700 feet on a 1/4 pound roll, and the recommended strands for that on the low end is 14. So you got 6 feet times 14 strands equals 84 feet. 1,700 divided by the 84 is 20 and change, 20.2. So you end up getting 20 strings out of a 1/4 pound roll because it's a thinner material and you got more feet per the 1/4 pound roll, but it's at an additional cost. The D97 1/4 pound roll goes for about $40 per roll over the $10 for the B55. So that comes out to about $2 per string. If you want to add the serving material to it, you're looking at less than $2.50 to build a D97 string. So around $2 1/4, $2.30, something like that. Here is a precautionary note that I'm going to give you. Stick to the 1/4 pound rolls. Don't drop down to the 1/8 pound roll for your purchase. Reason being, from what I've found, where the D97 is for sale in 1/8 pound rolls, the listed footage on a 1/8 pound roll is 375 feet. And I don't know about you guys, but I went through elementary math, and that math don't math to me. 6,700, which is a 1 pound roll, that's how many feet are on a 1 pound roll. If you divide by 4, you get pretty close to the 1,700 feet on a 1/4 pound roll. But if you divide that by 8, 6,700 divided by 8 is 837.5 feet. That's a far cry from 375 feet, which are listed on a 1/8 pound roll. So something wasn't making sense to me on that. So where I found this description and that footage, I actually sent in and asked the question. Here's the question that I asked. Here's the answer that I received to the question. So you have the information. Do with that information as you please. Again, to me, the math don't math, and the answer doesn't make much sense to me. So I suggest you stay with the 1/4 pound rolls. On the 652 Spectra, using the same process, there's approximately 2,050 feet on a 1/4 pound roll. It needs 18 strands on the low end, so that's 6 feet times 18 comes out to 108 feet. The 2,050 divided by the 108 will give you 18.9. So just staying on the whole number on this, let's just say you get 18 strings out of a 1/4 pound roll. This goes for, on an average, $40 a roll also. You get 18 strings out of the 1/4 pound roll, so that comes out to about $225 per string, and somewhere between $250 and $275 per string once you add the serving to it. So there's that information. Now you've got information you need to make a decision on what type of string that you want to use. I leave it in your court to make that decision. So we're going to move from string materials onto the jig, to go over what is involved in either building a jig, or I will even provide to you a link for purchasing one, and we'll cover that right now. So now let's focus our attention on the jig itself. It's a pretty simple apparatus, actually. It's a 30-inch piece of board. It's got some finished nails spaced 1/2 inch apart and 1.5 inch spacing between from the finished nail to the far peg is 28 inches. And let's put this one here. The first hole is set at 3 inches. So measuring the string length will be 28 inches, 3 inches, 3 inches, and 28 inches. So to come up with the first peg hole measurement is 28 plus 3 plus 3 plus 28, 62 inches. Each subsequent hole in the movable length peg is 1 inch apart. Which adds 2 inches to the string's total length, because you're adding 1 inch here, you add 1 inch here. And then all that's left is to find what length of strands that you need to build the string that's going to fit your bow. To find the length of string that you need, the easiest method, of course, is to measure an existing string that you have for the bow. Minus that, then you can take your AMO length of your bow, be it a 50 inch, a 60 inch, what have you. For recurves, it seems normal to subtract 4 inches from that. So if you've got a 58 inch bow, it would be 54. If you've got a 60 inch, then it would be a 56 inch string, so on and so forth. Now, that gives you what you want your finished string to be. You have to determine what the length of your strands are going to be to get to that finished length. Now, for that, I have kind of a visual of what we're looking to do. So on this piece of string, you'll notice the black and the red. The red is where the loop is going to be. So what we'll be doing is starting off at about 9.5 inches. With that 9.5 inches, the first 3.5 inches will be used to form our loop. Once that part is complete, we will bring these two ends together, and that is what's going to form our top loop. 3.5 inches folded over is going to be about 1.75 inches finished loop for our top loop. That will enable it to be wide enough to slide down the top limb. These will be the leftover tag ends that will be joined up with their corresponding colors on the main body, and then these will be twisted together until about 1 inch or so beyond where the tag ends finish, thus setting all of these twists. When you pull them tight, get the stretch out of them, bring them in, then those twists can be set. From that point, what I'll be doing using my B55 string, I will measure from this end of the loop all the way down my string to a point at 53 inches down from the top loop. At that point, that's where I will clamp the string off again, begin my bottom loop, doing the same way. As you remember, it said that in a Flemish twist string, you'll twist individual bundles clockwise, then you bring them back over counterclockwise. Twist, over, twist, over. Counter twist to put the strength into the string. Now this bottom will be about 2.5 inches because you don't need it to slide down the limb like you do the top. So this will be the one that stays onto your bottom, so it will be a smaller loop. So since it was 53 inches to this point, when we bring it over, we're adding slightly over an inch to bring the overall string to 54 inches. Now this is where it will differ a little bit between the different types of string. I am going to build out to the 54 inches, then I will put my twist into the string at that point back to about 53 inches. The reason I need to take it back to 53 would be 55 is because if you remember when we talked about the strings, it's going to have more elasticity into the string and it's going to stretch more as it sets in all the twists and gets settled in. So from the 53, it'll stretch out probably a little over an inch, but it will stretch back out to the 54-inch length. And then I will check it, adjust brace height to twist back in wherever I need to go to set my final brace height that I'm looking for my bow as 7 5/8 inches. Now a D97 will not stretch as much, so you would not need to go as far as what I would have to with the B55. You may only go out to say 53.5. So instead of a full inch, you may want to go 1/2 of an inch. Even less for the fast flight. This is something that you're going to have to determine by making your first couple of strings. So that's what the Flemish twist string is in a nutshell. And now to determine what the length of strands need to be to come to your final length without having too many twists in the string. You absolutely can get too many twists in the string. I've heard people say that no, you can't put too many twists in the string. Well, here I'm going to show you what came off of BCY Fiber's website and their recommendation on how many twists to put in the string. So from this that came off of their frequently asked questions on their BCY Fiber's website, you can see that their recommendation is for 1/2 to 3/4 inch, or excuse me, 1/2 per 3/4 of a twist per inch of bowstring. So there is their recommendation. So a lot of times when you just hear somebody willy-nilly, oh, just add 20 inches to the length of it and build from there, well, that's a little overkill. My particular string goes at about 72 inches. So I can go a little bit shorter on mine and not add near so many twists to go into it. So instead of 74, I don't want to have to twist up that extra 2 inches of string, so I come back to 72 to put mine in. The jigs, again, is a simple, it's 30-inch board. It's got the finish nails. It's got the wraparound twines down here at looks like about 1.5 inch spacing here, 1.5 inch spacing on the finish nails, and then you've got the movable dial that goes in. I keep mine marked by actual length of the string, and not by length of my finished build. It just works better in my head to do it that way. Feel free to mark your board any way that you want to mark it. This is just what works for me. I'm gonna give a couple of sets of plans. This is the one that I actually used. It's some plans that I found on the internet. Somebody by the name of Tim Flood. I want to give him credit for it. His name is on the technical drawing that's here. I want to make sure that he gets the credit for these plans. That's the one that I used in building this one. It's not exactly the same. I doctored it to fit the board that I have. This was a 5/4 deck board that I had left over from patching my back deck this past summer. There's another one. I'm going to put this one here. This one is from a man by the name of Ron Harris. It's the plans for the jig itself, and also the plans that shows you the routing of the string as it's fed onto your jig. So that came from, and I can provide a link to this one. That link will be in the description. This set of plans came from an article written by Ron Harris for Stickbow.com. So there'll be a link to this in the description. Now, you do not have to build your own jig. They sell finished jigs, and the price of them is about $30. I can put a link to one of the finished jigs that you can get. If you just don't have the time or don't have time to go look up scrap materials to put it back in and just want to get one and get it done, then you can just purchase an already built Flemish jig for around $30. I'll provide the link. That is the jig itself. Not much else to it. 1.5 inches in between. 1/2 inch spacings for these. Now what these do is when you bring the string around, this is what gives you your tapered ends that fade out when you tie the loops in and go into the main body. So each consecutive one is about 1/2 inch shorter. So as you're going through the thing, it'll start dropping as you get to the ends of these tag ends. It'll start dropping them out, and it'll be less strands each time until you get into the main body, which gives a nice, from loop to main body, a nice tapered look to go down into it. Very simple apparatus. This thing automatically figures in the taper for your string. By using this movable dial, then you're changing the length of the strands that you use. That's it, guys. That's what this little piece of ingenuity does. So now, after we've got that out of the way and some links to plans and purchasing, we're going to build a string. We'll be back momentarily to do that part. Well, guys, all there is left to do now is build a string. So I guess we might as well get right to doing that. Today I'm going to build the string on the primary colors of BCY Cedar and their BCY Dark Brown. And these are B55 strings. I know you've seen tutorials on doing this before, but I'll go through the gist of it real quick. I'm just going to make a overhand slip knot in this tag end off of this roll. Put that over the far peg, and then it's a simple process of winding through the pathway. And I'm going to be building a 14 strand string to go on my 50-pound recurve. 12 would probably do it, but I have been using 14 on it. I'm used to the feel of that string, so that's what I'm going to stay with. One of these days I may test a 12 on it again and see if I like it, but for now I'm sticking with what's been working for me. So I'm going to do 7 passes of each color. I'll speed through this just a little bit until I get to the 7th strand. Okay, now that I'm on the 7th strand, I do this final little pass, maybe different than some, but what I like to do is come all the way back around to the end again and back through. Because if you notice, there's none on this one, so this brings everything back out and gives me 2 tag ends of the same length. And now it's just cut through the middle. And smooth these out a little bit with the existing wax that's on the string. And then I've got a small cake of beeswax that I'm going to wax the string with to give some good holding power for it. Run my fingers through that, building up a little heat, let that impregnate all the strands. Some people just do the ends. The whole string needs to be waxed anyway, so I'll just do the whole string. Okay, that has one bundle finished. So now I'm going to do the dark brown. See if I can find the end of it. Ah, there we go. And it's the exact same process, so we will speed through this part also. And here we are, coming around to the end of the 7th strand.
and we'll go through the same process of waxing the string again. Okay, now we have our two bundles. Let me lay out the tape measure again, so hopefully it's a better visual for you. See what we're doing. I'm going to match up the ends. To 9.5 inches. And that's the point that I will clip it off. And we're done with the jig for now. I always like to start with my top loop. A lot of people like starting with the bottom loop. Doesn't matter. They're both going to be done before it's over with, and it just happens to be where we're going. Let me reposition my camera here. So there we go. Okay, at this point, I'm going to take these tag ends and just twist them up just a little bit to get my twist started in my bundles. Twist in the same direction. Both get twisted the same way until we start our counter twist. Then they go back in the opposite direction, one over the other. So twist, roll back, twist, roll back, twist, roll back, twist, roll back. Try to keep it consistent. My twists are going to be different than your twist. It's not something that can be taught. It's just something that really just has to be felt and done. Don't get in a hurry. Don't lose your pressures or tensions. Just make it a nice little twist. Now I'm twisting with both right now. I'm twisting with this one, and then rolling back. And remember, for this top loop, I'm wanting 3.5 inches to make an 1.5 inches, or excuse me, 1.75 inches top loop. That'll fit over the top limb when we unstring our bow. That'll work. Now our right hand is with our dark brown is on the right hand side, which is where it is with this one also. And I'm going to want to match up these colors when I bring the loop together. Brown to brown, cedar to cedar. It doesn't have to be. It's what I like. It just forms it, makes it look more consistent, and it's just it's preferable in my mind. Now we'll twist those in together, kind of combine them. When we first start, the string's going to be thicker because we have more strands. As we work down the string, we'll get to those tag ends, and it'll taper thinner and thinner until we run out and get into the main body of the string. So from this point, now you see what's going on with adding twist to the string. As we're going, you see that the string gets twisted more and more now. So you'll want to keep these untwisted, and we'll have to do something about that here in a little bit as soon as we finish this top loop. But now we're introducing some twist into the string each time we roll back on itself. You can see it's starting to drop some of the tags out now. So the string is going to start tapering and thinning out as we go down. We're nearing the last of the tag ends now. And I'm going to want to go down an inch or so beyond the last of the tags into the main body of the string. And I'm pretty well into the main body now. Give it a little tug. And I'm going to take her down probably to about 8 inches of twist. Keeping a little tension on it just to keep the twist from unwinding. Keeping my strands separated. I think we can end there. Tighten that just a little bit and clamp it off. So now, as you can see, the string has quite a few twists into it. So now we're going to perform what's called a back twist. We're going to take these twists out of the string and I'm going to go over to a different hook to perform that. I'll come over on the other camera over here now. Put this string in. Let's get set up where we can see again. So Don't know if you can see it or not, but there's quite a few twists in these strings now. So we were twisting to the left, so I'm going to twist the string back to the right to take these twists that we just put into it out again. 2, so that's about 12 twists to the right that I put into it. I'm going to work this string down just a little bit to make sure the rest of the twists are out. We want these strands to be straight again. All right, now that we have them fairly straight again, now we've got to introduce more twists in the same direction we just took the previous twist out. We want to introduce more twists in the same direction, called back twist. The reason for the back twist is we're going to form the loop on the other end. So it's going to do the exact same thing. It will introduce twist into it. So if we've already got some twist put in, as we put our loop into the other end and start coming back down with it, we will undo the twists that are in there back into a flat string that will get them to where they lay down next to each other and not want to get all messed up with each other. Not intertwined. So we've got our ends out. They line up at the end. That is good. So at this time, I took about 12 twists out to get it to flat. So I'm going to introduce about 12 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Same with the other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Strings are still of approximately the same length. Now, I'm going to measure this string out to my point of 53 inches. About here. Take another clamp, put in here. And we're going to do the same thing on this end that we did the other to form the smaller loop. But on this smaller loop, we're only going to need to go about 2.5 inches because we don't want the loop as big. It's only going to be about 1.25 inches in total. So we only need about 2.5 inches braided on this end. Let's begin that. So we're twisting to the right, folding back to the left. Right, fold to the left. Trying to use about the same tension and consistency that we did on the other end, making the top loop. Keeping just a little bit of tension onto it so that our twists lay together well with good spacing and good consistent look to it. We'll do a check. Just a couple more. That should do it. Again, bringing the loop together. I'm going to be bringing the brown with the brown, the cedar with the cedar. Twist these tags in together. And then we begin our twist. And now, as we're rolling them over, we will be untwisting the twist that we put into the string as we work our way down past the tag ends. The tag ends will be falling out as we twist past it. So we get a nice taper. Close. Now I'm just about out of tags. I think I just got the last ones out. So now we're down into the main body of the string. Stretch it just a little to set these ends. Top loop back on again. Just a little stretch, and now we introduce our twist into the string. And we're going to want to twist up till we get to our 53 inches. And by the time I tighten this up, we will have it. Okay. Let's put it on the bow. Big loop over the top end. Small loop on the bottom. There we are. Get some stretch started into it, get all the twists settled in, and now it's just going to be kind of a waiting game. Let the string finish twisting out, set our brace height again, and we are good to go. So there, gentlemen, is the Flemish Twist string. That's where we're going to end this video today. I'm not going to serve it today because that's going to be the next video. After this string stretches out on the bow overnight, then I'll come back in, we'll serve it, we'll set the brace height, we'll set the knot points after that, and that'll be it. I want to thank you so much for coming in while we went through this. I hope I helped. I hope I was able to explain some of the things, what the Flemish Twist is, how the Flemish Twist jig is built. If you don't have time to build it, I've got some links into where you can buy one. So now just a quick little demonstration. Both of these strings, I built another one off camera just to show you the difference. Both of these strings are 54 inches long. They both go on the same bow and adjust to the same brace height. So the only difference between the two, they started with the same length of strands. The only difference is where the bottom loop was started. One started with longer tag ends to make it a shorter string, so it's got less twist. The other one started with a little bit shorter tag ends, a little bit longer strand, and I twisted up more twist into it. But that's the difference between a half twist per inch on the top string and a little over 3/4 of an inch, or 3/4 of a twist per inch on the bottom string. So really, it's up to you and your preference. I like a few less twists in mine because with the B55, that is going to settle in quicker and not have as much stretch. But if you're going with like a D97 or Fast Flight, that's not going to stretch much anyway. If you like the look of the tighter twist, then it's totally up to you. So this just shows you, what you can do and how you can customize the string to the way you like for it to look, and the flexibility you have when you're self-reliant in building the string for yourself. Don't forget, if you got any information out of this, please hit that like button for me. Throw a comment in there, be it good, bad, indifferent. If you think I messed something up, please let me know what it is, because I certainly don't know everything. I'm doing the best that I can to find the information to pass on to you so that you can start your little road to self-reliance and doing these things. I haven't done it all. I'm learning this as I go too. So the research that I do, I'm trying to pass on to you. Don't forget that I've got another video series that's going, and I've got a playlist of the beginner to bow hunter series already established. I'm going to put that link that's on the side over here. Also, there'll be a subscribe button. If you want to see more on this self-reliance part of this that we're going through on the series that we're having, then hit the subscribe button. You'll be notified when another one comes up. And don't forget that all the beginner to bow hunter are in one playlist. You can hit that and catch up to where we are now on that part of it. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to try to cut this short. I know it's been a long video, but I appreciate your patience coming in, and hopefully that you picked up on some tidbit of information that'll be of benefit to you. So hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next one when we serve up this bowstring and get ready to put knock points on it. So y'all come back. Thank you.